The wait is finally over, folks. Dragonball Daima has been released on Crunchyroll, and if you have managed to somehow find this video before you watch Dragonball Daima, please stop it, go watch the episode, and then come back. While I don't intend to go into any heavy spoilers or really to go into anything heavy with the episode itself, because I want you guys to experience every single episode before you even remotely come across my videos on YouTube, I just want to point it out there. I may discuss, talk about, introduce characters and names before you get a chance to, and I want every one of you guys to go experience this first. So with that out of the way, that was your opportunity. If you're still here for some reason, you want to get a little bit spoiled for the episode, that's perfectly fine. This is entirely up to you. There will be some light spoilers, and I'll drop it in the title as well. Light spoilers, and what I mean by light spoilers, mostly some names and a little bit of stuff here and there. But without further ado, let's get into the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima. And we are introduced right away with the Demon Realm. Right out the gate, we're introduced to the Demon Realm, and we are showcased two individuals on the screen. Those two individuals are the king, newly appointed Demon King, King Goma, and his assistant, which, surprisingly enough, I think most of us kind of figured it based on hairstyle and based on looks, but that is indeed a Kai. His name is Degesu, and here's the first bit of a spoiler. Degesu is the younger brother to Shin, the Supreme Kai that we know in the universe that we see. He is the younger brother. Goma and Degesu are watching the events play out of the Majin Buu saga as they scroll through a bunch of things on this really interesting board that they have, and Goma can control it. They see King Dabra, however you want to say it. They see him, they see Babidi, they're like, oh god dang it, these guys at it again. Crap. They release Majin Buu, they're freaking out. They see the Saiyans, they see Vegeta and Goku, and they're freaking out even more. They're like, how are people this strong in the outside world? Because again, if you don't know anything about the Demon Realm is completely secluded from what we see. Much like how the Kai realm is basically in its own realm of reality from Earth and the universe itself, the Demon Realm exists in the same way. If you guys go back and watch Dragon Ball, notice that Goku could not sense Gohan until he was in the other world, which is basically where the Kai realm is. It doesn't exist in the other world, but it exists in a realm where they can actually sense each other from that. And the Demon World works the same way. It exists in a realm completely outside of the universe that we see throughout Super. So they're not used to these types of people. They see them, they watch the entire Buu saga, they conclude it, they see that Deborah is gone, that Babidi is gone, that Buu is gone, and now they're like, Goma's like, I'm the king. His assistant Degesu is like, you're the king, now we can start doing things that we want to do. My first question is, what happened with Degesu to make him be a Kai that is siding with the Demon Realm? They did point out something a little bit later when they decide to come to the real world. They pointed something out, which is interesting. I didn't know anything about this. I don't think it was ever mentioned, so this is kind of new lore, but I'll get to that in just a second. They start planning, and then we're also introduced to Dr. Anarisu, or actually, let me check my notes to make sure I say her name correctly. Yes, Dr. Anarisu, and she is the older sister to Degesu. It didn't specify if she would be older than Shin, but since Degesu said that Shin was his older brother, and he doesn't like his older brother, she's somewhere probably either the middle child or maybe even older than Shin. Again, not specified at that particular moment in time. But for the most part, that's what we were given for those two. She clearly has her own agenda, because as she's talking to Goma, she's like, well, Deborah, he funded my research. You're going to fund my research. So let's do this. So she definitely plays by her own games, and they notice that the Earth has the Dragon Balls, because the Demon Realm also has Dragon Balls in this show. And they are guarded by three individuals called the Tamagami, and they were created by the creator who made the Dragon Balls of the Demon Realm, and his name is Neva the Namekian. They just called him Neva the Namek, so I'm just going to go with it. Neva the Namek. He created the Dragon Balls that exist in the Demon Realm, and he has three individuals that guard them. And they point out later on in the episode that because of the Tamagami, people don't get to use the wishes of the Demon Realm hardly at all. And it's basically clear that they have to get approval from Neva to even use the Dragon Balls, and it's not an easy feat. And Neva is an interesting character, and we'll get to why he's interesting in a minute. So they decide they're going to deal with now that Majin Buu's been taken care of, Deborah's been taken care of, Bobby's been taken care of. They're like, okay, great, fantastic. We can do what we want to do in the demon realm. We have no one in our way to stop us. But then, thanks to Onisu, they start to make little questions. Goma's like, what if those guys that defeated Majin Buu come to the demon realm? What if they come down here and what if they start messing stuff up? I don't know. Dekasu's like, hey, don't worry about it. I don't think this is really going to happen. I don't even think they know that we exist. Besides Dabra and being introduced to that concept, I don't think they're going to come down here. I wouldn't even really worry about it. But Goma's like, I'm not playing that chance. I'm not taking it. So they decide they're going to go to the human world. They're going to get the Dragon Balls. And they're going to make the wishes. They even discuss what the wishes are right then, right there. And right out the gate, they say the first wish is going to make them all children. And the reason why he's going to make them all children is because they're less intimidating, less of a threat, less of a problem. And that's something I discussed with my friends early on, way before this episode came out. I even said that the reason the individual wished for them to be little kids, was because so they would not be a threat to him. It wasn't like the Dragon Ball. It's not like GT where Pilaf makes an accidental goof wish. This guy purposely wanted the wish to be made to make it this way. Goma literally made the wish to say, make them children. That way they're not a threat to me. That way I don't have to worry about them because I saw how strong they were. And if they're kids, they won't be a big threat. And well, to probably some degree, he's probably right. Goku, Vegeta, at least them two for sure, not much of a threat because they wouldn't be as strong as they would be as adults. So he's not wrong, but that's why he made the wish. It had nothing to do with some accidental stuff. It was on purpose. There was a thought process to this. It was thought out. So for those that keep going, they made the wish like they did in GT. This one's not like GT. Pilaf made a goof wish in GT. Goma made a purposeful wish on purpose to make them kids so they were not a threat to him if they ever did venture into the demon realm. You know, not talking about the wish. Goma, Dekasu, and Neva all go to Earth. They leave the demon realm, introduce a couple of gate guardians, basically. They look like giant fish. The gate guardians, we're going to the demon realm. We're going to the human world. Let's go. Again, whole separate world. They have to not only teleport to a different part of reality itself there, and then teleport from another reality into the real world. They appear above Dende at the lookout while Dende and they're looking down, seeing that Goku and his friends are all celebrating Trunks' birthday, and Trunks turned 9 in this. They specifically state this as well. Trunks turned 9 in this episode. So this series takes place right when Trunks turns 9, on his 9th birthday. I don't remember exactly the year Trunks was born, so when we look that up, if you look that up, Trunks was born in this year. His 9th birthday would be this year. That's the year it's taking place. And for those that are not sure where this episode takes place, the entirety of Daima takes place before Battle of Gods. Let me reiterate that to make sure everyone comprehends. Daima takes place after Kid Buu, but before Battle of Gods. So, during that 4-year gap, that after Kid Buu to the arrival of Beerus, that 4-year gap, this is where Daima takes place. And it takes place the official year where Trunks turns 9. Cool. Got it out of the way? Awesome. Back to Goma. They arrive on the lookout, tell Dende they want to use the Dragon Balls. This is where Neva the Namek comes in, and Neva displays some interesting powers that we have not seen in the Dragon Ball universe to date. They have Neva call forth the dragon. He doesn't create this dragon. He did not create the dragon, and he is not stated to be the creator of Dragon Balls. He's the creator of the demon realms. So if he was like the creator of the original Dragon Ball, like the Super Dragon Balls, then maybe I could see how this would play a factor, but he's not. He's just a Namek that's really old, thanks to Goma granting him life. And he even says it, grant my wish, I'll grant you another 1,000 years. Neva's a really old Namekian. So he pulls forth his magic, he calls forth the Dragon Balls, and they're stone. Even though they're stone at this point in the story, he still manages to not only find them, but reawaken them to grant the wishes. Neva is displaying magic abilities we have never seen in this show. Never seen at any point in the series. He is manipulating the Dragon Balls to do whatever he wants. And that's scary moving forward, because that means Neva could quite literally grant the wishes 3 times over, have his wishes granted, send him out, probably wait like an hour to rest, recuperate himself, call forth the dragon again, reset the Dragon Ball so that they grant wishes all over again. Like that's a dangerous power to have, and he works for the Demon King now, Goma. I don't know what's going to happen with Neva moving forward in the future, but if this guy goes full baddie mode for the rest of the series, or really leans into helping him, because he's an old Namek, so he's kind of like meh for a lot of things, but if he really delves into like helping Goma do whatever he wants, and he'll just use other Dragon Balls, not his own, that's a scary thought. Neva can call forth any dragon he wants. He can call forth the Dragon Balls, regardless if they're in stone state or not, and he can reset them if they are in their stone state. That is just wow. That's some deep lore stuff that we haven't seen, and that's a new concept across the board. Again, the Demon World was already brand new lore stuff, and that's really cool to see for the first time in this series. But now you got a guy that you can get a Namekian that can do all of that. That's, I, again, don't know if it's because he's older and that's why he's learned to do that, because he's older. Maybe it's a technique of the Namekians who can who can create Dragon Balls. After a certain point, they can learn how to do this. Again, don't know, because no information outside of that's really been given. That he's a Namekian and he created the Demon Realm's Dragon Balls, and he apparently has the ability to call forth any Dragon Ball regardless of any dragon, even if he didn't create it. So again, don't know if that's a trait that you pick up the older you get as a Namekian or what, but that's a scary thought moving forward. Anyway, also I want to point out that while Goma and Degasu were up there with Dende talking about it, they point out the ear situation. They pointed it out earlier when they were talking about Goku and Vegeta when they were fighting, and they were like, "Oh my God, are they Majin? Are they Majins?" And they're like, "No, look at their ears. Their ears are rounded, meaning they're not Majins or not of the demon realm, basically." Because when they get up to see Dende and Popo, they point out that because they said your ancestors are from the demon realm, we presume, right? And it's like, what? And Dende's like, what do you mean? He goes, your ears, your pointed ears indicate that you have ancestors from the demon realm. That's new information. That's new information that's been dropped, that if an individual's got the long pointy ears, that it's actually tied to the demon realm, or like that's where they started out. So like the Namekians technically, based on that statement, would be from the demon realm. And a friend of mine pointed this out. Does that mean Demon King Piccolo was right in his stance to say that he was a demon king? I mean, he claimed to be a demon king solely because he was tyrannical and all this stuff. But technically, by that standard, he would be from the demon realm at least. So he was indeed a demon. Hey, new information. Like we said, this show is introducing a lot of new stuff to the demon realm, and the ear thing is definitely a new inclusion. I completely did not see that coming whatsoever. That's new, and I like it, but I'm also kind of like, okay, sure. Let's go with that then. Goma makes his wish. The entire cast that basically was at Trunks' party turned into children. Now, they did point out that Gohan wasn't there. And I know I've seen people ask, hey, where's Gohan? Is Gohan going to be an adult through this series and everyone else is a kid through this series? I don't know, because technically the wish said, when Goma asked for the wish, Goma said, turn all of those who fought Majin Buu and their friends into children. And this is where this was a funny bit. Shenron's like, by children's, can you be specific? Like, how old are we talking here? And frustrated Goma's like, I don't know, first graders, make them first graders. So they are the age of your typical first grader. So about 7, 8-ish is about where they are. 6 to 8, it just depends on all that stuff. But let's go with 7. Turning them all into first graders. They're all, actually, might be 6, 7, whatever. So he purposely said make them all first graders at the age of a first grader. And then Shenron's like, and what about those who are already children? What do you want me to do with them? And he's like, just make them babies. Just make them babies. I don't know what about. So that's why the wish is made the way it is. Like I said earlier, he thought it through. He planned it through. This is why we have miniature Goku, miniature Vegeta, miniature everybody. Because Goma said, make them all first graders. That way I ain't got to worry about them. not like GT. So stop comparing it to GT already, because it's not. So the episode ends off with everyone freaking out that they've basically turned into children again. We see the little warp that we saw from all the trailers and whatnot. We don't know the reaction of everybody yet, because that's where the credits hit. And that's where we are after the first episode. They have all been turned into children. We don't know about Gohan, because again, he wasn't there. But the wish does phrase it, and he would fall under the category of, well, how you phrase the wish. So we may see 7-year-old Gohan again. Don't know yet, so please don't take that literally. We don't know yet. I'm just saying, based on the way the wish is phrased, he would technically fall under that wish. Goma's got his wish. We know that, I'm assuming by the next episode, because we are shown the next episode preview. Of course, they're going to go back to the Demon Realm, start doing whatever they have planned up. I want to know more. And we get introduced to Glorio, because Glorio is right there. It even says subtitles Glorio. We are shown Glorio right there. He was shown earlier in the episode too, briefly, as Deku was leaving the chamber room where they were at. You see him looking over there, hearing the plan. So Glorio already has heard the plan, and he's probably going to come in fact, because we know he helps Goku and friends. So looking forward to see how that, because he clearly, given that fact that he helps them out and he was listening in on Goma and Deku, he doesn't like this, and he wants to help put everything right back in order. So looking forward to the rest of the season. Looking forward to the rest of the series, and I can't wait for next week's episode, because I want to see how much lore they're going to build into it, how much more tidbits they're going to add that we haven't seen before, introduce new concepts we haven't seen before. I'm really looking forward to the series, because it is introducing things that we have not seen before in the series, and that's exciting. That's really exciting, and I look forward to that. Also, if you're worried about the animation is amazingly beautiful in this episode, and it looks like it's going to be the rest of the way for the rest of the series until it's done. Fantastic animation. This is what happens when Dragon Ball gets the time to be properly produced and properly animated, and properly everyone has the time to do what they got to do. This episode looks incredible, and the rest of the series is probably going to look just as incredible, if not even more incredible. I can't wait for the transformations. They're going to have a Super Saiyan 1. I just can't wait. I can't wait. To end off this video, I want to point out the one big-ish spoiler thing that I guess I want to bring up. Again, the names were kind of spoilery, but again, you get introduced to them, and I don't think it's not going to affect you really to know the name of a character before. But if that really bothered you, again, anyway, the biggest spoilery thing that I can think of that popped up in this episode was at the party we are shown Shin and Kibito defused. They were defused. They were not Kibito Kai. They were Shin and Kibito. They were split apart. And they even brought that up. They're like, yo, the last time I saw you guys were put together. What happened? Now we know, if you remember, in Super, they said that they used the Dragon Balls to wish themselves to be split apart. So in Super, they used the Dragon Balls. But this not only has them separate years before, but doing a different method. And the method they brought up was, hey, when you guys refused to fight Majin Buu and you end up in his stomach, you defused. We thought, why not try the same thing? So they asked Majin Buu to absorb them. And then while inside of them, they used it and it worked. Apparently Majin Buu's body, being the magical being that he is, just being what Majin Buu is, the gas within him basically corrupts the plethora and it causes you to defuse. So Daima has Shin and Kibito defuse way earlier and in a different way. I know we saw in the trailers that Shin was already going to be separated, but I thought they were just going to go with the wish sooner, because they made the wish in Super. So I thought they were just going to do the wish sooner in the storyline, because again, this takes place before Battle of Gods, so it technically fits within that time frame that Super is set in. After Kid Buu, but before the 28th tournament where they fight Oob, right? But again, they changed it. It wasn't a wish that separated them. It was Majin Buu's gaseous insides that caused it. I say that's like the only change I noticed. And again, it's not that big a deal. It's really not, because Super has them split. This has them split. I don't think it's a big deal. I just think it's an interesting choice that they made the change to have them split here and how they had them split versus in Super. Super said, we just use the Dragon Balls to wish us apart. They used Buu, basically. So that's the only real change I noticed, that is different than how Super's got set up. But so far, outside of that, I've got no real complaints about this episode. It's not real action heavy, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to build some lore, build some intrigue, tell you about some stuff you don't know and set everything up. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for you guys to watch it too. Drop in the comments below when you watch it. Let me know what you thought about it. Please do not watch this episode before you watch the show. If you somehow have watched it all the way through before watching the episode, oh man, I'm sorry, but hey, I said in the beginning, go watch it before you watch this. I can't wait for Diamond more. I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to the series. I'm looking forward to what they bring into the story. And so far, I'm really intrigued. I'm really enjoying it. Animation is beautiful. I look forward to next week. I hope you guys see you next week as well. Till next time, everybody.